Hi, I'm Brett Warren. The more you know about the common mistakes that investors make, the better likelihood you have of building longer term wealth. Each week I talk to Michael about the common mistakes we see. And today we're talking about the smoke and mirrors that come with marketing tricks. Michael, I know you're a bit of a magician, so you're probably a good person to speak to about this.
Yes, well, most people don't know, but since a kid, my hobby was magic, and now I've got grandchildren that love it. In fact, only a couple of days ago, I was there showing them tricks that I used to show their parents, so it was fun. But now I think what you're talking about is a different type of trick, the smoke and mirrors that marketers use to entice inexperienced investors. They pretend that property investing is easy. But Brett, if it was easy, we'd all be multimillionaires.
Look, most definitely. It's something that obviously is very easy to be drawn into and fall for these types of tricks. So it'd be really interesting to hear some of your viewpoints here, Michael.
Well, first of all, be careful of offers or promises that get to your greed glands rather than focus on the fundamentals of property. It's human nature to want to get rich. It's human nature to want to get rich quickly. It's human nature to want to do it the easy way. But nothing easy is usually of great value. So, first of all, wonder why. Another big mistake marketers make is suggest people buy property for tax reasons. Years ago, there was an NRAS fad. There was a granny flat fad for a while. There's the idea of getting big tax depreciation deductions, rental guarantees. The problem is with all of these, you're usually paying extra because they're loaded into the price of the new property or the new house and land. And the aim of residential real estate is to build an asset base for your future rather than getting a quick one-off hit. Of course, the concept of getting a tax deduction is useful to make it easier to hold on to, but that's not the primary reason. It's the cream on top. Just like off the plan, there's been so many investors who've lost out because despite the marketing hype, off the plan properties in general end up being secondary properties built for investors rather than owner occupier. So it's investor stock rather than investment stock. And because you're paying for the first, I don't know, 5-10 years capital growth to the developer for his profit and for the marketers, you actually miss out and it's not his profit to have. But they make enticing offers. It looks nice when you go into the display suites. And of course, the other big one is the next hotspot, looking for areas where there's going to be the next growth area. Oh, maybe there's one other I should mention too, Brett,
Yeah.
and that's this concept of this is a growing area. It's growing.
Physically.
Look at all the land. Look at all the new houses. What do you say to people who say that to you, Brett?
I like to point out the difference between physical growth and capital growth, because although there's a huge amount of growth happening, the supply and demand ratios and the fundamentals we spoke about are really out of whack. And potentially there could be another 10 years of supply of land out there. And that just doesn't equate to capital growth in the long run.
Well, supply is the enemy of capital growth. So yes, you'll often even see prices change in the area because the nature of the property there compared to what was there, the vacant land a number of years ago, is different. But does the resale value of one of those new houses in outer suburbs increase over time? The answer is very rarely.
Very rarely.
So.
Yeah.
And the other thing to watch out for, the marketing smoke and mirrors, are secrets. 10 secrets. I've got a secret. No one's got a secret. Even you and I don't. And we, in fact, tend to share those here. Yes, there are things that we know that others don't know, and that is actually comes from experience and perspective. But if somebody's got the secret to it, a guarantee to it, and especially to do it quickly, and to do it with no money, that's the other thing that where people are getting caught out. They're in such a hurry. They're so keen that they're prepared to pay for these courses to get around the bank, but do a sideway thing. It doesn't work. Buy properties on option or these other funny schemes. Maybe I should finish with one of the quotes of Warren Buffett that I love. Wealth is the transfer of money from the impatient to the patient.
Well said, Michael. It's quite interesting, Michael, because I really believe a lot of the information we talk about, it really is just common knowledge. So I talk to a lot of investors who I guess, are trying to reinvent the wheel. They want cash flow or tax benefits, and they're looking for the next fad or the next trend, maybe Airbnb or granny flats, as you said. But when you talk to them, they know the basics. They know the fundamentals. They know supply and demand is critically important. They understand buying a property with good land value and not buying things on and off the plan. It's ingrained in them. They know, but they're chasing the get rich quick, and they're chasing the quick way to get there, aren't they?
Well, there are some psychological biases, and marketers know how to take advantage of those. Property investors should always bear in mind the more marketing activity surrounding a particular product, maybe the more red flags that should go up. Always ask the question, how hard is it for the seller or developer to try and convince me to buy this sort of thing? Why are they having to work so hard? Now, I'm not just saying all heavily marketed investments are automatically bad. However, notice the sort of marketing techniques that we're talking about, and they should at least drive you to do your own independent investigation. Slick marketing is no substitute for quality research. Just because the seller or the selling agent or the marketer tells you it's a great investment doesn't mean it is. They have a vested interest to look after their clients, the people paying them, not look after you.
Look, that's a great point. And I think that one of the first flags that I always notice, Michael, is they always start with a property or the property. If you ever do sit down with someone that starts immediately putting you into a box or putting you into a property, you should probably run for the hills. That's exactly the opposite of what you should be out looking at, which is taking a step back, understanding where you are and where you'd like to be, and then finding the right type of asset to assist with that process.
That's a good point, because I remember a couple of years ago, a client put to us, and I think it was one we were speaking with together, and he sent us the brochure that that property marketer who was independent had given him, and he said, I think you should invest in this new estate because I've put 19 of my clients in there in the last couple of years. And I figured, hey, it can't be right that that's the exact same product that would suit all 19 of those. Doesn't make sense. So what he's got is a stock list in his drawer as opposed to independently finding what's right for their clients. So be careful of vested interests. And I think one of the benefits at Metropole is having a national business and never ever having sold properties, but giving strategic advice means that we have a vested interest in our clients rather than in a particular product to sell.
Great point, Michael. Thank you for pointing out those marketing tricks and those deception. Thank you for joining us again, Michael, and we'll catch up again soon.
Look forward to it, Brett.